Live.
We are
Hello,
live.
everyone, and welcome to a special live edition of Stack Your Points. We're using my channel for this just because technology is hilarious. So, thank you for everyone who's joining. The stream will go very shortly, but this is our Stack Your Points crew for this week. We have RJ from Do You Take Cards. RJ, how are you this evening?
I am doing very well. I just had a wonderful conversation about American Express, so how could I not be in a good mood?
Absolutely. We've got Tariq from Rook's Rewards. How are you today, sir?
What's up? I'm chilling. You know, that's just my MO now. So you already know.
There we go. And Josh from the Josh Giebel YouTube channel. How are you today, Josh?
I'm doing well, Matt. Thank you for all of you for having me on here for this special live edition. Looking forward to it.
Absolutely. We have some. We had a bit of a hiccup this week, but we're just gonna keep pushing forward with it, and so we'll go forward and jump into some things here. We've got Chad from Chad's Money Minutes saying, "Yo, how are you, Chad?" Keith has said that he's had to turn the Mets off. Francisco Alvarez is killing me and taking years off my life, which isn't fair because he's 22. The Mets collectively have taken years off my life, which is why I just live in a life of, oh, okay, well, tell me when they win. We've got Anthony Bovey joining the channel. Hey, Anthony. So he was looking forward to this. Nico Poli. Hey, Matt or Lonnie. I know not here. Please check Chase Dining. It's not working at all. Oh, so the fun begins there. Chase Dining, the company behind Chase Dining, was purchased by American Express and will be part of Resi, which led to me saying Chase absolutely needs to buy the club now. So the Talk acquisition might be starting to show its head.
That just sounds like American Express is trying to sabotage Chase.
As would be their right, since they now own Talk. Also, pay no attention to the Dunkin' Donuts behind me.
Someone hasn't decided to get the gold card.
So for all of you joining us on YouTube tonight, I have our show documents from the lost episode here, and I'm giving Matt a little bit of a break off, and I'm going to now quiz all of you on the topics and the questions that we went over, just to make it a little bit different, because we want to make this episode slightly different than if we were all in real time yesterday. Again, we want to thank Josh for being here because this is not his normal time and not his normal place, but we appreciate him rolling with us. Josh, I want to hit you with the first question. This actually came from Jason. Is it the mobile wallet? Is it the real-time rewards? Why is the U.S. Bank Altitude Reserve such a cool card, and why do I personally want it so much? I need you to answer this question on my behalf, Josh.
All right. Putting me on the spot. Thanks, RJ. Well, I will always go to bat for the U.S. Bank Altitude Reserve, as you all probably know. It's the combination of essentially a catch-all 3x card that kind of transforms, if you will, into a 4.5x card when you redeem everything for real-time rewards. It's like the ultimate easy-to-use card, and it helps me garden as well, which is always nice. It frees up lots of things. But of course, the paradox is you have to garden to get the card that helps you garden, because of US Bank being a little more strict than, say, Amex. But yeah, I just farm points through mobile wallet. I put like 90% of my spend through there when I'm not doing a bonus or something like that. And I can see past the lack of transfer partners because it helps me cover things that always are a pain when I'm traveling, like that $100 Uber to between the airport that you thought was closer to the city center, but it's really 50 miles away.
Good answer. I like it. I want this card. I'm literally not getting another card until May 6th. Well, I will be on a boat in Alaskan waters, and I'm applying for this card from my bed on a cruise. That is how much I want this card. I'm gonna go to you, Tariq, next for a question from Double Double Animal Fries. I want you to tell us what your travel day is now. So not embellishing, not saying I want this card to do this. I want you to tell us what your travel day is now and what you want your travel day to look like a year from now. So I want the before and after of Tariq's travel day.
Man, so my travel day right now is like bare bones, basic Southwest economy because that was the only flights that I've taken before this. Usually, depending on who I'm traveling with, usually with my family, early flight, so getting to the airport around like 4:35 a.m. and then just chilling for a few hours. Most places at my airports are closed. There's a Auntie Anne's Cinnabon, so grab that. Uh, Other than that, wait, when I'm traveling with my favorite travel companion, the one we did recently when we were in Chicago, it was get to the airport about 3 hours again before boarding. And then as soon as we get back, we'll land to Chicago was where we went. We took an Uber this time from Midway to our hotel. And it was basic, sit at the gate with Adam and his kids. Fortunately, they weren't there this time, so it wasn't like loud and annoying. Fortunate because there's a pain in the butt. So pretty basic, standard, everyday, kind of prepared traveler that doesn't have the premium access. Now, a year from now, and realistically, I'll even go to say by next summer, I plan on having the United Explorer and the United Business and probably the United Club. Haven't decided between the personal and the business yet, leaning more towards the personal for the extra points. And I can justify that extra $75 with that fee or with that IHG credit. So that'll be still getting to the airport 3, maybe even 4 hours early. My home airport has a United Club lounge, which is great. I can just sit there. And then if I'm not going to United Hub as my final destination, I'm probably going to connect in Houston, Intercontinental, or maybe like Denver, depending on where I'm going. So I can go sit that layover. Usually I'll have a 3-hour layover because I'd rather spend too much time at my connecting airport for in case anything happens, because we know things are going to happen, delays, and I don't want to miss my connecting flight because I don't want to have to deal with that. So I'd rather sit in the airport with another club lounge and just chill, relax. And then as soon as I get to my final destination, depending on my duration of stay, I'll have like a carry-on or a check bag. If I have a check bag, I'm going to baggage claim. And if scheduling my Uber to pick up around the time, as soon as I see the carousel move, pick up my bag, Uber's ready, go to the hotel. Unless I'm in like a Chicago or a DC and I go to the Metro rail station and then commute that way, because I like public transportation where I can, because Ubers and Lyfts can get kind of pricey depending where I am.
But if you have 4x on Uber and Lyft because you have the business gold, and then it's just you getting more points. It's awesome.
I mean, I have 5x on Lyft on my Freedom Flex, and also
yeah,
I think
but
my
they're Chase
Sapphire
points and
preferred.
they're crap.
To you.
Ja, I'm also, ladies and gentlemen, drinking a face full of bourbon tonight, so I might be a little saltier than usual. Josh, somebody asked in the chat, Michael Robbins, is U.S. Bank new account and inquiry sensitive? Do you want to answer this, or do you want me to just start laughing?
I'll answer it. We'll get into that laughing later. Although, yes, spoiler alert, U.S. Bank is perhaps the most inquiry sensitive out of all of the major banks. Citi can flirt with that sometimes, but U.S. Bank takes it to a new level. For the altitude reserve, for example, a lot of people have decided that they really like this card, they really want to get it, but they have like 4 or 5 cards. They gotten like 4 or 5 cards in the last 12 months. And you need to be there are exceptions to every rule, right? And it's not like a fast rule that's like published anywhere. But no more than 212. So 2 cards in 12 months, preferably 0 and 6. When I got approved for the card in February, I was 06, but 212, and I still had to call reconsideration. Coincidentally, I did that from West Africa, and they like were still like, oh, I don't know, you've had a lot of cards. It's like I had 2 personal cards in the last 12 months, guys. Like,
Don't ask
can
about
we
my business cards.
don't worry about those. But they also like to see a relationship before you apply for this card. It used to be a requirement, like you would get auto denied and no chance of reconsideration if you didn't have a checking account with US Bank. They have since walked that back once they realized how stupid that was. And it is still, I actually asked the rep about this during my recon point blank. Did having this checking account for like 3 months before I applied for the card help? And he said, yes, we actually score our applicants based on their relationship with US Bank as like a relatively small part of the application. But in my case, it's what pushed me through at 212. Admittedly, with a little bit of, can you please just do it?
There we go.
Very nice.
Just taking a second here. Oh, sorry.
Nope. The U.S. Altitude Reserve does not have a pre-auth tool. It is the only one of U.S. Bank's cards without the pre-auth tool. So definitely something to know is you got to go in blind. And honestly, if you're 112, that's about as high as you're going to go unless you're Josh and calling from West Africa and part of the CIA.
I can neither confirm nor deny that last part of that statement.
Tell Avery
so
I
thanks.
said what's up.
Rodrigo, thanks for the US Bank question. Did want to go back and just highlight that KitKat left a super chat. So thank you so much for that, $1.99. RJ did also ask for our credit card hot takes. We do have one, first and foremost, from KitKat saying Amex raising the annual fee on the Platinum is a good thing, and I encourage them to put the card in the 4-figure, so crossing $1,000. As a business traveler, I'm so sick of these crowded lounges. To which Chad agreed.
And he also said, also make it, if you're not a 195 card holder over the age of 13, you can't come in. Under 13, pay $50 to $100. I would be okay with like you get 2 free a year, like because if you're traveling with, you know, significant other or something like that, I think 1 or 2 just to like show the other person that it is worth this $200 fee to get them into lounges for, you know, holiday travel. But yeah, even as somebody who holds the Platinum and travels with family a lot, I would be willing to pay for them to come into the lounges. If the lounges are a little, you know, less crowded, a little nicer, maybe, you know, the food is, you know, depending on the spread. I mean, I go to LGA. LaGuardia has one of the nicest lounges you're going to go through for the Delta Lounge specifically. So my Platinum gets me in there, and it's why I will never get rid of my Platinum, even when I get the Delta Reserve.
Keith also asked if we can play Kiss, Marry, Delete with credit card ecosystems tonight. We'll
Yes.
possibly get into a couple rounds of those. And also from the chat, we had AB type in. They've had 2 Altitude Connect cards in a month. They now have 8 lounge visits for no annual fee. Pretty impressive. Mertz auto approved for US Bank Altitude Reserve recently at 312. So there you go. Keith highlighting our mythical Chase Inc. Reserve for $1,000. He would pay that. I don't know that I go to 1,000, but I would, depending on what they gave me, 650, 750, that would be fine. Ron chiming in, hey y'all, we'll watch the replay. No problem, Ron. Thank you so much. Kevin Yuen has asked, what do you guys think is going to be the annual fee and benefit on JetBlue Premium Credit Card? As your resident JetBlue flyer, I'm going to say $450, $500. You're looking at a premium card that's going to get you lounge access. You're paying primarily for the lounge access. Look at the premium cards. $390. They're around $400. Venture X is $395. Sapphire Reserve is $550. Platinums are $695. I'm going to say $450 to start. It's 2 lounges, and the only other ways are with relatively high JetBlue status. So they're going to make sure that the person who's coming in with this credit card is paying to get in, as this is going to probably be the primary benefit of the card. But it's Barclays, so who knows?
Yeah, Barclays is the problem because they are special in so many ways. Matt, I got a question for you.
Yep.
This is from Spathco, friend of the pod. What is the best deal you know about credit cards? And you're like, nah, that's a bridge too far.
Oh, there can be a lot. At the beginning of the year, I made a video that said like one of my resolutions this year was going to be try to get as many stacks as I can, and the process for that starting with going through the Chase travel portal, the Chase shopping portal, and if not the Chase shopping portal, going through Rakuten, and if not Rakuten, going through something else. Let me tell you, half the time I'm not dealing with it. The only things I'm using right now for that is like going into Rakuten. If Marriott is 6% cash back on Rakuten, I'm going to go in, book a Marriott with cash through the Rakuten app, use my number, get my benefits, and get my 6% cash back when it's 6%. I just booked a Hilton Garden Inn for this week, and I went through the Top Cash Back app because it was 4% cash back on top of everything else that I could do. So I'm getting all of my points at Hilton and an extra 4% cash back just for using Top Cash Back. Otherwise, a lot of that stuff has just been, it was very well intentioned on my part. A lot of it has just ended up being a bridge too far.
Josh, what are the 3 most used credit cards in your rotation?
3 most used cards. Altitude Reserve is number 1 by far and away. Number 2 is probably, I guess, the Sapphire Preferred, but it could really be the Freedom Flex or the Unlimited, whichever one I feel like throwing down for food, I guess. And then I use the Built card most months for rent, but outside of that, like I'm not kidding when I say 90 to 95% of all of my transactions go through the Altitude Reserve. And when I'm traveling, the Venture X gets tossed in there somewhere.
Venture X is a nice card. Now that I can use it for choice, I really like. Now that I figured out how to use the points, I really like the card again. I had to figure out how to use those points. Tariq, I want to talk to you, my man, about Hyatt and IHG. We had kind of a half conversation last night about this, and now I'm going to put you on the spot. What does your strategy for hotels look like in 2025? Because you had some thoughts last night. We bandied around some things. I want to put you on record. What do you think 2025 is going to look like for you with hotels?
Ooh, all right. So 2025. So I know I'm going to have at least 2 IHG stays. There'll probably just be some comfy Holiday Inn Expresses. For those that don't know, a lot of the travel that I do is catered towards my alma mater's sports teams, more specifically football, but I'm also going to a basketball game in small college towns. So I got 2 Holiday Inn Express stays. I got one, I think, actually booked in February, and I got another one booked I don't have it booked yet, but I have one booked sometime in the fall, depending on when the football schedule for next year drops. Other than that, I have a for sure booked Hyatt stay in College Station. And other than that, visit my girlfriend's family. So I'm going to have an IHG stay for there. That's going to be.
I like you're not answering the question. You're just listing the hotels you're staying at.
I'm getting there. Well, you got to let me think. I'm trying to process. You put me on the spot.
I don't need a walk to the mailbox and back. I need the question answered, sir.
Okay. Hey, we got time. Anyway, while I was rudely interrupted.
24 minutes into a 60-minute live, sir. I don't have time for you to walk around the block before you answer my questions.
Yeah, you don't need to be drinking no more. Anyway, I have a reserve stash of about 80 some odd thousand Chase points, and then my girlfriend has probably as much. We haven't looked at that in a while. So I'm going to be getting the IHG Premier personal side to top up on IHG points. I have a timeshare presentation today where I'm going to get 50,000 points for sitting in 2 hours in Vegas, having them try to convince me to get a timeshare where I'm going to say no probably 25 times. But other than that, I've been slowly like earning Hyatt points just from like regular Chase stays. I'm going to miss that 5X cash and grocery on the Freedom Flex when it goes away in February. And then I'm working on the sub for the Hyatt Business. So that'll be probably after spend somewhere around like 80 something thousand Hyatt points. That'll just sit there that I don't have to transfer Chase points. So I don't plan on burning too many Hyatt points. And then it's just earning back my stash of IHG points. So whether I put it on the personal or the business, maybe just the IHG business, so I don't have to, I can rack it up higher and not have to worry about the utilization. I'll start accumulating that. That's going to be my gas card once my Freedom Flex is done for, except for like the 1 quarter where it gets gas. So yeah, like my IHG card is going to probably be my catch-all card, so I don't versus the Freedom Flex, not Freedom Flex, Ink Unlimited.
Here we go. I actually want to tackle the question you have up next, Matt, for you. Is Sid crazy for hoping that American Airlines doesn't become a transfer partner with Citi so their points don't get devalued like United and Delta? Are they crazy?
I don't think Sid's crazy. I absolutely see where he's coming from with that line of thought, and I'm 100% convinced that's where American Airlines is coming from with that line of thought. American Airlines, according to a Forbes article about the possibility of American Airlines becoming an exclusive transfer partner with Citi and the sole and Citi being the sole credit card issuer, it was highlighted that not only have Citi and American Airlines had a 37-year relationship, but American Airlines offered to be the primary transfer partner and Citi turned them away. Like, I don't think American Airlines is going to give them that deal again, especially now that American Airlines is in the driver's seat of these negotiations and Citi desperately needs something. So Citi will have to give up a lot to make this possible. And I don't know if it's going to be anything that affects their cards or if it's going to be anything that affects their ability to compete in the credit card space. So I don't think it's crazy. And I think American Airlines understands that they don't want to devalue their points.
I didn't even realize.
No, go ahead.
I was just gonna say I didn't realize that American offered to be a transfer partner at first, and Citi said no. Way to fumble the bag, Citi. But I mean, I guess they're working out in some way. But I mean, imagine having Citi as AA as a direct transfer partner instead of like the few months it was. I think it was like during the like 2020 times when they were a transfer partner for like a short term bit. Like that Citi would be like like I said, it would probably compete with Chase with earning because that card like Citi's ecosystem earns better than most other ecosystems at a lower annual fee cost.
Yep.
So our back to basics topic was the Marriott Bonvoy program, which we're going to have to do in another episode. To be fair to Bonvoy, I want each of you to give me your 30-second, because I don't want to go through all of the levels and all of that because we'll be here all night because we'll all be complaining about them like we did on the show. I want the 30-second what you think of the program, not the Marriott hotels themselves, the Bonvoy program. Josh, I'm starting with you. Your true thoughts in 30 seconds, sir.
All right, 30 seconds or less. The Marriott Bonvoy program itself, to me, is a little overcomplicated and redundant at times. I think there are too many tiers, I would say. It's not like Hilton where there's 3 and it's more defined. And also, I just don't see how can like make this. It's good for like if you have a ton of paid stays, and it's good for business travel, I think. But for somebody who's just traveling personal, not so much. At least not for me.
Matt, 30 seconds. Marriott Bonvoy, go.
Marriott Bonvoy is overly complicated and great for, as Josh said, your cash stays. Great if you're a business traveler. Great. The properties are great. The highest highs of your JWs and Ritz-Carltons are fantastic properties. They have the best properties. Their program needs help. Gold is worthless. Platinum is pretty okay, but you have to pay $650 for it. Titanium almost feels unattainable, and Ambassador is sort of just like silly because you have to basically live at a Marriott. The program is the hotels are great. I will pay cash for the hotels. I'm not sure how I feel about me going forward in the Marriott ecosystem.
Tariq, Marriott, 30 seconds. Go, sir.
So Matt and Josh kind of hit it on the head. Both of them complicated. Statuses for like gold and platinum don't really mean much. I mean, I feel like silver is member and then knock it down for that, especially the fact that you can get gold like candy hands out. It's almost like it's gold plated. I mean, you can get it on a $125 business card up to the $695 platinum. There's too much range. The hotels, like I said, are nice, but program complicated, and for point stays, too expensive. Better with cash.
I'm going to sum up mine by just imagine a dumpster that is on fire, but also full of nuclear waste. That is the program right now. Also, there's 6 dumpsters because there's 18 different levels that you can get with Marriott. So just imagine that. Josh, I don't know the answer to this question. Are you an Apple person or are you an Android person?
I have Apple products.
Do you have the
Doesn't
Apple
make me-
Card?
I do not.
Okay. I have the Apple Card. I think, Matt, do you have the Apple Card or just Apple products?
Apple Card.
Tariq, you don't have the Apple Card. Is that correct?
I do not, just Apple products.
Okay, so we have 2 without the card and 2 with the card. I'm going to go around the little circle or around the horn if you're an ESPN fan. Who do you think is the most likely to get the Apple Card, and who do you want to get the Apple Card? So I'm going to ask you 2 questions. I'm going to start with Matt. Matt, who is the most likely to get the Apple Card, and who is going to get the Apple Card? Or I'm sorry, who would you like to get the Apple Card?
Most likely, I still think it makes a lot of sense based on their past relationship. Would be Citizens Bank. It's weird to say that, but I think Citizens Bank would make the most sense. Who I want, we've talked about this on the podcast before. Wells Fargo for fixing their prestige problem would be awesome, and I would have a very vested interest in this, but may not be Wells Fargo. Chase would also work if, and I'll say this, if and only if they change the cash back to UR points.
Josh, I'm going to go to you next. Who do you think is going to get it, and who would you like to see get it?
I guess I'll default to Chase just because that it does make sense, but I also don't think it would be an Ultimate Rewards earning card, actually. I think it would be an anomaly. And that also just messes it up as well. So I guess I really don't know. And then who I wanted to go to a really I want to go to like something stupid like FNBO Harris should pick it up or something like that. Not FNBO, not MBO Harris. Because then they can be with Amtrak.
There you go.
FNBO would be cool. Yeah,
Tariq, who is getting it? Who do you want to get it?
Honestly, I think when it would be Chase could be I could potentially get it. I know it's kind of been like the gripe of not having like a flat 2% card. Like it was mentioned with Josh, it won't be a UR card. It'll be a cashback card, kind of similar to like the Amazon. Plus Chase has that experience dealing with a complicated multi-billion-dollar company like Amazon. So that could work. And I guess ideally Chase, just because again, simplicity, they have the experience and it would just work out. And it wouldn't be the 2% ultimate reward earning card, but I mean, a flat cashback 2% card is still good regardless. And I guess it can kind of somewhat get Chase, the monkey up Chase's back for that. And it's the path of least resistance for them.
Yeah, I think it's going to be Chase. I'd like it to be US Bank because that'll give me a US Bank card and maybe it'll make them happier to give me the Altitude Reserve one day. So I'll play that. Josh, kiss, marry, delete. Wells Fargo, Amex, or Chase. Those are your three. You're going to kiss one, you're going to marry one, you're going to delete one.
All right. In that order, Amex, Chase, Wells.
Matt's heart just broke a little bit. Tariq, your options are Wells Fargo, US Bank, and Citi.
Okay, so Wells Fargo in its current state, no future speculations with their future transfer partners.
I'm giving you those three banks, sir, and what they have currently.
What they have currently. Okay, so take it at face value. So I'm gonna say Kiss, Wells Fargo. No. I'm gonna kill off Citi just because even though I can earn like crazy, transfer partners are me, and I'm like, no thanks. I will kiss Wells Fargo just because I know that they will have potential and they have good earner cards as well. And I'm going to marry US Bank for that beautiful Altitude Reserve, and I'll just put all the spend on it and use real-time rewards and just be fine with what it is.
And you'll be okay with that $400?
Oh yeah, I mean that $325 credit. Well, I'll get that back just by eating out and using mobile wallet. So cover your ears, but it will be like an effective annual fee. But I don't mind paying the $400 and getting prepaying $325 back. Plus, like I said, real time rewards, guaranteed 1.5 cents per point. That's fine with me.
Matt, this is the hard one because I'm picking banks that I'm not going to pick Chase and I'm not picking Wells Fargo for you. So this makes this much harder. Let's go with American Express, US Bank, and let's throw Citi in there for fun.
Well, the problem is if I delete Citi, it'll just exist because they're nothing but zombies. So you know what? I'll live with the zombies. Headshots are fun. Then I've got American Express and US Bank. American Express I'll kiss, and US Bank I'll marry US Bank just because their level of chaos is something to keep my brain active.
It would keep your brain active. I agree. I enjoyed that, Keith. We will play it on the real show once because I have a couple I want to toss Lonnie's way. And he is not here currently, so I cannot toss it his way.
We should do it with like hotel and airline partners as well. That'll be fun.
Yeah, but I have to give him one that's not United or Intercontinental. Like I have to make it a challenge. What card strategy? Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Oh, sorry. I was just going to hop in with the question on the screen from Nico. Going back to the first point, if Chase got rid of or modifies Chase Dining on the Sapphire Reserve, right now, if you try to sign into Chase Dining, it'll automatically signing you out. They may be scaling it back just because they haven't found a new partner yet. So if until they find a partner, maybe it's going away and that 10x and that focus can go toward extending the Lyft partnership. Another question from Sid M. So right now, if Chase Dining isn't working, I would sit tight and just see what's going on. Also, thank you, Keith, for the super chat.
Yes. might be more of a Matt question, though. I mean, my strategy for new Apple stuff was I just put it on the Apple Card. Like, I have no problem unless I'm in the middle of a sub with a 0 APR for 12 months. I'm just gonna put it on my Apple Card. Like, I'm fine with that. Josh, did you get a new phone? Anything new goodies this year? No.
No, I had an iPhone XR up until like I guess I mean I got a new phone this year, but I had the XR up until like March, and then I got the
What
14.
what card did you put it on?
I think I put it on the altitude reserve for the bonus.
Nice. Tariq, any new phones this year?
No, I am writing off the 14 Pro that my dad decided to give me because he wanted the Pro Max, and I'm still on that family plan. So I like free 99. Free 99 stuff is better than trying to pay $1,000+ and get points right now.
I get a new iPhone almost every year. The reason I got a new iPhone this year is because my stepdad was on an Android phone, and for the love of God, having a group chat with an Android phone is annoying. And I know that Apple is making it annoying on purpose. I understand this. I'm fully aware, but it's still annoying. So he got my old 15 Pro Max, and then I got the 16 Pro Max. So everything Apple Card just
Didn't
makes
they
it easier.
just change that though?
Yeah, they just
With
added
this-
RCS. It's actually pretty cool.
So yes, it's somewhat easier, but so it's easier as in like it doesn't show a new text when they like something, but you still can't do like timed messages or stuff like that. I am up until 3 o'clock in the morning Eastern time every day, basically. So if I want to reply to the group chat and I can't time that message for when people are up, they're going to get text messages at 3 o'clock in the morning because that's when I'm responding to them. So things like that, it is easier for me to be able to set remind things like that. Matt, I know you put your Apple purchases on about 15 different cards. So do you want to walk us through that process?
Oh boy. Because I'm very dumb and I'm working to welcome offers, I decided to put my iPhone 16 Pro Max onto my American Express Blue Business Plus. I have a family member who works at Apple, so I'm utilizing their friends and family discount for the card for the phone. I'm also doing the trade-in program, so I'm going to get a little bit extra back for that. So effectively, I've added just under $1,000 to the welcome offer on that one. I will pay for Apple Care probably with the Blue Business Plus just to make up that spend. The AirPods Pro that I bought to replace my previous AirPods Pro that I'm using right now, I put that on the Chase in Cash. I'm working that welcome offer. And then the Apple Watch I put on the Apple Card for the installment payments. So I bought 3. There will be potentially an M4 Mac in my future, and I will be putting that either on the Blue Business Plus or putting that on the in cash just so that I can finish out one of those welcome offers.
Keith also mentioned Bank of America as a possible place for Apple. I do think that makes a lot of sense. I think we talked about it on the podcast as an option as well. Why does everybody sleep on Bank of America in general? Because they're not as rich as some other people. Like the people who really love Bank of America have the top tier option because they have so much money with Bank of America. Like
Yeah,
all of the math
Okay.
works if you
It's
have
funny,
that extra money with them.
I have a Bank of America card, and I'm still just I treat it as an afterthought. Maybe because it's only a cashback card,
All right.
but like,
Hey
Josh.
guys. I have 2 Bank of America customized cash rewards cards. They are excellent cards, and stop sleeping on Bank of America. I use them when I garden quite often, and I don't have the highest tier. I have the lowest tier.
Yes,
Or I
but if
did.
you watch a lot of YouTube videos, when they talk about the math, a lot of times the math they're talking about
Sure.
is that highest tier. That's
Yeah.
more what I'm talking about.
25%.
Like I do think people can figure out their own math, and I think that's definitely helpful. But when people talk about, oh, you can get up to
yeah.
5.25 or whatever.
3% doesn't sound as good as 5.25, right?
Right.
I'm working on it though because I value 5.25% cash back higher than I do 3x. So I'm not in a place in my life right now where I'm gonna qualify for for the highest tier. Let's be real. But once I fall over backwards into that tier X years from now, I'm going to be in a good position to get that 5.25 on my top spend categories.
If I were to hit the lottery within the next, I don't know when, I will put my lottery winnings into a Marrow account just so I can hit that top tier and get 5.25 on my customized cash card, and maybe just get like, just maybe the premium rewards or the rewards elite. Who knows? I'll be rich by then.
I would also like the Apple Card, if it goes to Bank of America, to be part of preferred rewards. If it's not, then it's not worth it.
That would be great, but they will never.
It won't be.
That ain't happening.
And Anthony, to the question on screen, what strategy should you implement? Check there's always a at least once a month, I'm noticing a day a month where Apple products will go 4 or 5 or even 6x in your shopping portal of choice. I've noticed it with like United Airlines, through Mileage Plus Shopping. American Airlines has it for 4 times points. So what you can do is go through that portal, go into Apple from there, pay with whatever card you're working a welcome offer, and you get all of the points from there. You get all of the points from all of the points on your card, all the points in your portal, and whatever points you're going to get on your welcome on your card as well. So you do get that triple threat there. Also, Spaithco, thank you for the $2 super chat, adding to Matt's funds so he can pour one out for Wells. Well, yeah.
So Josh, I'm gonna go around the horn again on this one because I think it's a fun question. If you had to give up all of the current cards you have and go with one issuer only, and just get Amazon, or good Lord, I always do that. Amex cards or Chase cards or Citi cards or US Bank cards. But you had to give up every other card in your wallet. Would it be US Bank? Would you just go US Bank Altitude Reserve everything?
No, because US Bank is great in so many ways and so incredibly stupid and frustrating in so many other ways. You cannot combine your altitude points from the Go and the Connect to the Reserve. The day that happens is the day they break the credit card market, whether they even know it or not, because odds are they probably won't even realize what they've done until people start abusing the heck out of it, like me. Anyway, so not US Bank. I wish I didn't have to go with any, but if I have to, I guess I'd probably just go with Bank of America and just switch to entirely cash back. If I'm going to be limited to one ecosystem, I could do Chase, I could do Amex, but if I'm limited one for between now until credit cards cease to exist, I'm going to go with the most cost-effective option.
Matt, would you go Wells Fargo as your only issuer, or would you go somewhere else?
I think it's going to that question depends very heavily on what Autograph Beyond looks like. If Autograph Beyond is a card that has a mobile wallet category, yes, I will just go all in with Wells. I'll cash out all my Chase points and just go from there. If it's a weak card, I'd still consider Wells just long term, and they're really good value. But I could see myself needing to go to one issuer. I could probably just see myself going to Chase and just running an ink train as long as I could.
Tariq, I'm giving you a slightly different question because this is too easy of an answer for you.
I figured.
If you had to live in a world where the only transfer partner for Hyatt was Credit One, or where the only transfer partner was American Express and only their charge cards, so you had to pay the annual fees of the American Express charge cards, which world would you rather live in?
Is IH? So you're saying
Hyatt?
No.
Hyatt. It's Hyatt, and you were all in on Hyatt. I am making you only be able to stay at Hyatt's for the rest of your life.
Okay. No, because
Matt
availability.
is just like a child on Christmas right now.
No. So it's just when you're saying Amex, it's just Amex in their current transfer partners.
It's American Express would get Hyatt in this case,
Okay.
but only for their charge cards. So, which is really where you can get MR points, but they're not their business cards. So you can't pick up a Blue Business Plus and just Blue Business Plus your life. It's only their charge cards.
So
Hyatt's
bring
I'm
those
hottest
basically
on.
saying
transfer
you have
partner
to
is American
pay.
Express.
Don't
Yes.
do Credit One. That's the
No,
answer.
I'm never doing Credit One. As soon as you said it, the answer was no.
I wanted to see just how much he wanted to avoid those Amex annual fees.
Look, I love Hyatt probably as much as any other Chase fanboy that preaches about staying under 524. But there are lines I will not cross. Credit One is a line that I won't even see for like 25 miles on a good day.
I needed that on record. I needed that on record that even Hyatt is not worth dealing with Credit One.
Hyatt, look, it could be Hyatt and United. Literally, it could be all of the transfer partners that I love. And if they were on Credit One, I would go elsewhere. I'd go to Citi before I go deal with Credit One.
I mean, yeah. This is an actual question, which I think is a pretty good one. If you are the unofficial official travel agent for your extended family, Josh, what strategies would you use to stack points and benefits for them and for you?
I'm not arranging travel for my extended family. Heck no. That's my answer.
I mean, it's fair. I do it all the time. My answer is just put it on your credit cards if you believe that family will pay you back.
Oh,
because you'll get the points. And they don't know if 25,000 of those points go to a hotel stay for you. They have no idea how many points you just racked up. So, look, if you're being a travel agent, you get a cut of things. Those points that you spend on yourself are that cut. I strongly believe that. Tariq, are you the unofficial official travel agent, or are your parents still helping you out?
My parents, fortunately, still help me out, and they don't need my help. My mom is the one that will go to Costco whenever they have the like $500 Southwest gift cards for like $400, and she just gets those.
So should we have your mom on the podcast? Is that what I'm hearing? That we should just have your mother be on this podcast?
Look, I found out like maybe a month or two ago that she has the United Explorer with like 60,000 miles, and I'm like, what? Why haven't you told me this?
And
It
your
broke
father is
me.
lifetime at Hilton or at Marriott.
My dad is lifetime Marriott Silver. I don't know how. I don't know. I mean, obviously, I know how. We only stayed at Marriott's growing up, but I was like, what? Like, why? But my dad's also like super into American Airlines, and I can't. I cannot. I won't. I'll do Southwest before I do American. I don't want to connect in DFW, and I definitely don't want to connect in Charlotte. I've been there, done that. I don't want that T-shirt. I sent it to Goodwill.
Matt, I want to ask you a slightly different question. This comes from Anthony Bove, who I think brings up a good point, right? We mentioned 524. You call it the marketing shtick from Chase. But a lot of companies do have sort of their rules, right? 112, 012, depending on who you are with US Bank, 06. Wells Fargo kind of has a 524, maybe sort of depending on who you are. Why do you think Chase gets the heat? Is it just because it is so consistent for, 99% of people to be at the 524? Or do you think it's just because Chase is the biggest credit issuer?
A lot of it comes from Chase being the biggest credit issuer. I think, honestly, more of it comes from the online space, whether it is the blogosphere or it is the YouTube universe, where folks will highlight, their referral codes. One of the things that you'll notice is folks will mention, if you like this card, if you're interested in this card, check out my link below. I'm guilty of it. I know there are plenty of other YouTubers who do like highlight it because, referral code, what's an extra 10 to 20,000 points a pop. They do the same thing with American Express. You don't hear it with Wells because Wells doesn't have a referral program. You don't hear it with Citi because Citi doesn't have a referral program. And Luke from Luke's Points and Miles highlights this from time to time. So I think because Chase is so big and Chase is so prevalent and Chase is the quickest way to get clicks, get views, get watch time, get ad revenue, get additional revenue, whether it's through your referral codes or what else, highlighting Chase's rule because it's been so hard and fast, and now Chase is officially acknowledging it, is kind of where they get it from. The rule itself, I just say it's artificial. I've joined Chad in saying that it's just artificial scarcity that they've created. I'm sure there are people who run enough spend through their Chase cards where if they would like another card and they are 1324, Chase has no problem giving them that card, depending on what their relationship with Chase is, because Chase is also a relational bank, but it is not as highlighted a relational bank as US Bank or Bank of America. So I do think that the highlighting of it specifically is part how big it is, part how many cards they issue, part the marketing that is done on their behalf by the blogosphere, by online resources. And so all of that comes together where it gets highlighted and ingrained more than Wells Fargo potentially now having a 524 rule. Because there are other things I've noticed with Wells Fargo where it's like, oh, I had a hard pull on my Signify Cash, but when I applied for the Attune card, I had no pull whatsoever. Like Wells was just cool with me giving me the card with no problem, or no additional hard pulls and no loss of points on my credit score there. So like those rules don't get mentioned as much just because there's less interest in Wells Fargo or there's less interest in Citi. Some of that is driven by the size of their partner lists or whatever else goes into it, and a large part of it can end up being views or can be monetary. I'll just leave it to monetary.
So you're saying Bill Gates doesn't worry about his 524 score?
No, Bill Gates puts everything on his Centurion card anyway.
At 1x, except for flights.
When you're a
But
billionaire, you really care.
You got a few billion or 50, 60 billion. It doesn't matter at the point. He can just buy the points, right? He could probably buy Marriott and just stay at Marriott's. Josh, I know you're a big fan of the VentureX. Other than the annual fee, which is lower than the Sapphire Reserve, lower than the Platinum, why do you think it is such a good sort of premium travel card on its own right, other than the difference in annual fee?
I think it comes down to, at least right now, the free authorized users. I am a authorized user on my partner's VentureX because Capital One told me to kick rocks. And because of that, we have the two cards, and we can each bring in two guests to the Capital One Lounge, and that's how we were able to bring our entire travel group when we were going off to Europe earlier this year. Everyone was able to get in, and they when we left the lounge, they were like, "Oh my god, how do I do this, Josh?" So it's nice. It's great for if you have a traveling with a family. Everybody's always going to deal with lounge crowding, but if you can get into a lounge, you're never going to have to deal with paying for somebody unless you are traveling in a really large group. But even then, just max out the authorized users, and then you have like 8 guests, or I think you get 3. Maybe I think it's up to 3 authorized users. It might be 2. I don't remember. But everybody gets their guests, and it's great. And at that lower annual fee price point than the other 2 cards, I mean, it's great for me because I have a Capital One Lounge. If you live nowhere near one, you might be better off doing something else.
Of the 3 premium cards, Drake, which one, forget the annual fee for a moment, just look at the cards themselves. Which one appeals to you the most? Is it the Reserve just because of Chase?
So part of me wants to lean towards that for that reason. Looking at like the places that I would travel to with United, uh, DFW is already out the picture. Maybe the Venture X, because there is a Capital One lounge in Denver and Dulles, which are two United hubs, and I can probably get some value by just booking a United flight through the portal, and it's just subsidized. So probably the Venture X for that reason. I mean, obviously the easy cop out would be the Sapphire Reserve, but their lounge network is I mean, we're begging them to do something by the club to get lounges, and then maybe. But I think as it stands, as someone who's trying to get into the United network, uh, probably the Venture X, and then points wise, I don't know how many times I'd use the points, but I'll use the credit at least.
You can always use it for choice, which isn't a bad hotel at the top end.
I would, yeah, I honestly would probably
Star Alliance, Turkish, Avianca.
Oh, Air Canada. Wait, is Air Canada one too, or is that?
Yeah, I don't like using Air Canada for domestic flights because they always try to charge me $50 for a
Yeah, I
punch.
saw that those were high, but
Matt, how funny would it be if American Express bought the club? Like
Oh, it'd
on
be
a
hilarious.
scale of 1 to 10.
1,000. Like I spoke to Dugraus for a video that I'm putting together with my end of the year, kind of like just seeing where everybody is check in. So he and I talked about Chase, and I would find it so funny if one of American Express, if it's American Express, is just that much funnier after the Talk acquisition. Like American Express is just going, all of your things belong to us now. That would be hilarious. Now, it would cripple Chase. And it would just make the Sapphire Reserve the most pointless premium card, because then you're just looking at all the other Priority Pass lounges, which in the United States, outside of the club, there really aren't that many. You have those like 11 escape lounges that just started accepting Priority Pass. American Express buying the club would end Chase's ability to become to compete in the premium credit card space. This is why Chase needs to buy the club. Per Sid's question here, what's the better chance of happening? Those three opening a lounge in Chicago O'Hare, or Chase buying the club? Chase needs to buy the club. Chase needed to buy the club yesterday. Amex buying the club on a scale from 1 to 10 would just be 1,000, because game over.
hey, you're bashing on Priority Pass, but don't sleep on the Wingtips Lounge in St. Louis.
Okay.
I know, I know.
So Chase is the largest credit card issuer in the United States in terms of just pure money, right? Which we all care about. Amex is sort of 1A. They're close. They're not necessarily neck and neck, but they're close. Are those your 1 and 2? Are those sort of on the same tier for you? And then everybody else? How do you sort of stratify the credit card market? Because I know Amex has talked about, Matt and I just did a video with John R. Where we talked sort of about how Amex is seen in the community. Do you see Chase and Amex on the same level, Josh, or do you see sort of Chase on its own level, but Amex on a different level? How do you sort of see those two in comparison?
I don't know. I mean, if I'm thinking about how I'm using those points, right? I think they are 1A and B, but for different reasons. American Express, they have Delta, but outside of that, I guess they have JetBlue too, but it's not the ratio is weird.
It's bad.
Outside of those two, like it's hard. It's like Capital One. It's hard to use their points for domestic flights. For Capital One, you're just completely screwed because there's none. But for American Express, I We'd much rather use those points for international travel, and I think they champion international travel really, really well. Chase, on the other hand, I think champions domestic travel quite well. They have United, they have JetBlue at the proper ratio, Southwest, and they with the Sapphire Reserve, you can get 1.5 cents per point portal. I believe that with the Amex Business Platinum, there's a way to do that now too. But yeah, I don't know. This is why I don't like ranking my issuers because they're all over the place.
Tariq, as Sid M says, are Amex and Chase Pepsi and Coke, and everybody else is Mr. Pibb.
Yeah, I could see that. I mean, they're for as long as I've been in the, at least as a viewer, subscriber in the credit card YouTube space, and soon to make my own content, it's always just seemed as like those two are just like the top dogs. Chase is the more simplicity, easy to step in the foot, get your foot in the door, Hyatt, United, Southwest domestic trips, versus Amex has always seen it as the advanced, got extra money, got that new promotion at work and you want to start traveling, like Josh said, internationally. So they both work well in their own space. But I feel like American Express caters more towards those big spenders because they're their own payment networks and they're going to charge higher interchange fees. So they're going to get more money, which is why they have better, I will almost say objectively better earning than Chase points.
Matt, if Wells Fargo was a soda, what soda would Wells Fargo be? Are they as good as Dr. Pepper? Like,
No.
How high up would you rank them?
I would rank them. So, given what they're doing right now, and their jump into the travel space, Keith with Mountain Dew. Mountain Dew is a good one. I was gonna say with like if they land this properly, there'd be like Jolt Cola, which is no longer available, but was like highly caffeinated. Mountain Dew is a nice fallback out option here. I really do love me a good Dr. Pepper.
No.
Gosh. I'll stick with Mountain Dew, but if they stick this, they're gonna go from soda to energy drink, probably.
So I'm going to do one more question each because I know Josh has to go to bed because the CIA is open very early in the morning. No comment, I know.
Cannot confirm nor deny any of that.
Josh is part of the what team?
I want you to tell me what is one of your credit card hot takes. I want a hot take from you, Josh. I know you're a calm, level-headed young man, but I want a hot take.
Can you come back to me?
Yes, I will come back to you. Tariq, hot take.
See, I want to say something about Chase, but I feel like the hot takes on Chase aren't very hot anymore because, I mean, Matt already touched on like all of those hot takes.
He does that.
You might have to. I might have to take a skip on too. You may have to be one of y'all. I have to think.
All right, I'll give my hot take. I'll give Matt a moment to think. The Amex Green is a better card than the Amex Platinum. That is my hot take. It doesn't have better benefits, but it is a better credit card. Well, charge card. It is a better card than the Amex Platinum. That is my hot take, and I will die on the hill. I will probably never cancel the Amex Platinum. I will also probably never cancel the Amex Green because even though I have a choice card and I will be getting a Hilton card, like when I stay at a Marriott or I stay at another hotel chain, I want my Amex Green. Cherry Coke is a good one for Wells Fargo. Not quite Coke, but it can work in a pinch. Matt, I know you have a million credit card hot takes. You do videos on credit card hot takes. you just title them differently. What is one credit card hot take from you, sir?
This time next year, Wells will be in the conversation of the top points and miles issuer.
Because the Beyond, because a transfer partner, why?
Because the Beyond, because of transfer partners, and I have a feeling they're going to do something that will differentiate them from Chase and American Express and put themselves in that conversation. Based on what they're doing, they've been taking things from various issuers. They could take stuff from US Bank and be the thing that Josh wants US Bank to be by like pooling everything and mobile wallet and maybe taking a real-time rewards type approach with redemptions, because they already have a card that you can do that with. It's not real time.
Follow-up question. What other than Hyatt, because the easy answer is just get Hyatt as a transfer partner. What transfer partner do you think will move the needle for Wells Fargo?
Aeroplan will start to move the needle if they get Aeroplan, just because of how valuable those points can be. I think if they were to somehow get American Airlines to at least agree to a transfer partnership, not issue their cards, just become a transfer partner, that would move the needle significantly. And if they can land Hyatt, that would if they land one of those two, it's off to the races.
I want to see United. Like, I know Chase and United are solid, but I think opening up United, especially with as Lonnie, does his videos, United has so many options. I think United would be great. Or Built, like as we've talked about on the podcast, 1-to-1 with Built and just leech off of their transfer partners would be great. Tariq, I'm gonna go back to you, sir, so we can end on Josh's hot take.
Perfect.
What is a hot take for you?
I will say this. If US Bank decided to pool all of their points and cash back all together to the Altitude Reserve, US Bank would be the best ecosystem for your everyday traveler. It would kill Chase, it would kill Wells Fargo, and it would kill Citi. The only
I
thing
like
I
that
would
you didn't mention Amex. I appreciate that.
Only because Amex, just because the value with international travel, but as a simplicity's sake, even like a $400 annual, like the Altitude Reserve is arguably, I would say it's better than all of the other travel cards, with the exception of the Platinum, because of what the Platinum does. It's way better than the Sapphire Reserve, and I would even say it's better than the Venture X. Oh yeah. So the only reason why I don't say Amex is just because Amex is just that different tier, and the money that they funnel in and the money that you're willing to spend can get you that outsized value.
Amex is like a rover in softball or like a libero in volleyball. It's just a different position. Like they're their own. Discover could have been that, and maybe Capital One will make it sort of similar with the payment network, but Amex is just weird, man. I love them, but they're weird. Josh, we're gonna end on you, sir. What is your credit card hot take?
Damn it, Tariq, you took mine. But I am instead going to say that the Chase Sapphire Reserve is very quietly actually the most improved card of 2024. I actually quite like it at this point, and I don't get the hate for it. And every week I think about product changing my preferred up to the Reserve, because I don't know. I'm either going to upgrade it or I'm going to cancel it. Well, downgrade to a Freedom or something. And that's going to happen at some point soon, because my account anniversary is next week, and the fee will hit when the cycle closes in like half a month.
It's
Very
definitely
good.
up there for most improved.
Definitely Kit with a shout out for the Wells to get Alaska would be a game changer. Very interesting. The Hawaiian pipeline, it's gotta end, but I don't know. I don't know. And then Keith with the Hyatt business. Though Keith, I wish I could have your spend with Amex because it would do me many things. But it doesn't. Yeah. So I had a great time. Matt, I'm going to turn it over to you. I'm giving my hosting duties back to you because this was very fun. But I'm glad I don't have to do it every week.
Well, thank you, RJ. Thank you for taking the wheel with hosting. And thanks everyone who tuned into this channel for this special Stack Your Points Live. We're going to get this over to the Stack Your Points feed. This may just be the main show and the only show this week, just because things and stuff. But if you like the Stack Your Points podcast that we do it every week. We record on Monday nights. We release portions of the show on Wednesday, Friday, and Monday here on YouTube. We do the full show on Saturday on your podcatcher of choice. And definitely give us a like, a subscribe to RJ's channel. Do you take cards? Subscribe to Josh at Josh Giebel. Subscribe to Tariq at Reeks Rewards. When Tariq gets his first video out, I'm sure the fanfare across the nation will be vast. So everyone, thanks so much for your time. Thanks for watching tonight, and we'll see you again next Monday. We have Key on the show, and technical issues will not be a problem going forward. Talk to you all soon. Bye for now.
That was